Welcome back to Movies TV Mad, and welcome to Saturday's edition of the Movies TV Mad Daily. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. The only thing we'll be talking about today is the only thing that matters. Michael B. Jordan and HBO Max are developing a Val Zod series. Val Zod is a multiverse version of Superman, a Superman of colour. So this is an exclusive from Collider and Jeff Snyder, and our Jeff does like his exclusives, but this is a very exciting one. Exclusive: Michael B. Jordan developing his own Black Superman project for HBO Max. A writer is currently working on a script for a Val Zod limited series, according to sources by Jeff Snyder of Collider. Michael B. Jordan and his production company Outlier Society are developing their own Black Superman project for HBO Max that centers on the Val Zod incarnation of the character, Collider has exclusively learned. Sources say that Outlier Society has hired a writer who is currently working on the script, though we were unable to ascertain their identity. Though it was initially unclear whether the Val Zod project would be a movie or a limited series. That's interesting. Sources have since reached out to clarify that as of right now, it is in fact being written as a limited series that Jordan will produce and possibly even star in, though he has yet to officially commit on the latter front. So, very interesting. My prediction: I believe he's co-writing this, Michael B. Jordan. I think he's going to direct this, and I think he's going to star as Val Zod, and I hope that he does. As previously reported, J.J. Abrams and his company Bad Robot are set to produce a Black Superman movie for Warner Brothers that is expected to follow the Kal-El Clark Kent version of the character. Right, let's be absolutely clear here. We do not know. We do not know if they are going to race bend Superman in the Ta-Nehisi Coates film. I hope they're doing Calvin Ellis. Imagine a live action Calvin Ellis and a live action Val Zod in the same year, because I expect both these movies to hit theatres and HBO Max in 2023, and we'll learn a lot more about the 2023 slate at DC Fandom in October, which is another reason to look forward to DC Fandom. Though Clark Kent is traditionally depicted as white in DC Comics, the character will be played by a black actor in the Bad Robot movie, which will likely be directed by a black filmmaker, as Abrams is simply expected to produce. Author and cultural critic Ta-Nehisi Coates is already hard at work on the script for that project. While Jordan did work with Warner Brothers on developing a Black Superman movie at one point, he recently shot down rumours that he would star in Abrams' new film, saying, "I'm flattered that people have me in that conversation. It's definitely a compliment, but I'm just watching on this one. The question is, why?" A recent editorial penned by Jamie Broadnax for Black Girl Nerds provides some context and prompted Collider to do some digging, as a Broadnax's source told her that Jordan has not wanted to engage in conversations about race-bending Kal-El. You see, Michael B. Jordan is a really good guy, a guy probably that Ray Fisher wouldn't get on with. And by the way, I've muted Ray Fisher finally on Twitter. I have no interest in this propaganda, that he spreads, or his people spread, or some of the Snyderverse fans spread. So anyone that does spread this is being muted by me. I'm not interested. I'm about DC positivity. So basically, Michael B. Jordan isn't interested about race bending Kal-El. For same reasons, many of the fans are pushing back on the current Warner Brothers reimagined version of Clark Kent, but that he would be interested in engaging on a Black Superman project centering on Val Zod's storyline. I am in total support of this, and I support Ta-Nehisi Coates and J.J. Abrams' project until I know what they're actually doing. I'm not going to preconceive the idea and just throw it out there. The distinction is an important one, particularly within the black community, as Broadnax explained how it would be tone deaf for Warner Brothers and DC to race bend a white character and erase black characters that already exist in the DC universe. Exactly. Under the Superman banner, Calvin Ellis and Val Zod. You know, Calvin Ellis and Val Zod. So I hope that Calvin Ellis is the Superman they're developing. And if that wasn't their original plan, J.J. Abrams and Ta-Nehisi Coates, I hope they think again. She has a valid point, she has. If there are two perfectly good black Supermen, why would Abrams' big budget black Superman movie follow the white version of the character? Is it simply because Clark Kent is better known within the realm of pop culture? We may never know the answer, but what is clear is that Jordan wasn't into that idea, and this is why I love Michael B. Jordan. And now he's developing his own Superman project, a bait for WB's sister streamer, HBO Max. It's important for people to see themselves in roles, right? I don't agree with this. It is not important for people to see themselves in roles. How many times have we had this conversation on all my socials, including here on my YouTube channel, Movies TV Mad? It is not important to see yourselves in stories. It is not. Maybe for some of you it is, but not for me. I've never seen a Greek Cypriot eating a doner kebab play a superhero before, and I'm fine with that, because my point is, when I see a character in a story, it's about escapism and aspirational storytelling. I aspired to be that white Superman in 1978, and so many other characters, and it didn't matter that he wasn't representing my cultural background that they normally wouldn't see. What that does to the next generation, to a kid or somebody that didn't think that is something that they could achieve. Now, you can still achieve without seeing yourself on the screen, by the way. Now they're thinking about it and daydreaming about it. Jordan told The Hollywood Reporter back in April while promoting Without Remorse. Val Zod, so that's an element of what Jordan said that I don't agree with, but that's fine. We don't have to agree on everything. Val Zod in the Val Zod is the Superman from Earth 2, where he's one of the last Kryptonians and the second to assume the mantle of Superman. The character was orphaned after his parents were executed by Krypton's High Court. Though he was found on Earth 2 by Terry Sloan, who offered the young alien asylum to protect him from the outside world, Ellis, on the other hand, is the Superman of Earth 23, where he is the President of the United States, and we already know he's the leader of his own Justice League and the Multiverse Justice League. And if this is what Tanahashi and JJ are doing, this will lead into this multiverse strategy, which will be very exciting. Outlier Society's featured credits include Without Remorse, Just Mercy, the HBO movie Fahrenheit 451, and Denzel Washington's upcoming drama A Journal for Jordan, which finds Michael B. Jordan playing a military man who, in the event that he's killed in action, blah blah blah. Yeah, we don't need to know the rest of this because we only care about Superman. Now, this is very, very exciting, but let's find out a bit more about Val Zod. 10 things you didn't know about Val Zod's Superman from CBR.com. While Clark Kent is the most famous Superman and by far the most well-known, comic book fans are also familiar with multiple other versions of him. By Jamie Parker. While Clark Kent is the most famous Superman and by far the most well-known, comic book fans are also familiar with multiple other versions of Superman from throughout the multiverse. With the upcoming Superman film on the horizon, there are rumours that WB will be focusing on a black Superman. The multiverse gives them plenty of Supermen to choose from, with most fans voting in favour of Val Zod, Superman of Earth 2. A Superman film using both Henry Cavill's Clark Kent and Val Zod will definitely break some box office records. Absolutely, a team up. Imagine all the Supermen, right? We're talking about all these Supermen that I believe are in play because of the multiverse strategy. Anyway, number 10. Val is if I can read this, let's say that again. 10. Val is agoraphobic. When he was sent to Earth, Val got stuck in his pod for longer than planned. This resulted in him becoming agoraphobic for the fear of being outside. This is a lot different from the Superman most people know. When he was taken in by Terry Sloan, he voluntarily stayed inside a small apartment due to his fears. He was later inspired by Lois Lane to leave his reclusive ways behind and save the world. That is fantastic. I would love to see them adapt that, absolutely. He was adopted by Jor-El, 9. Wow, I didn't know that. Val Zod's parents were scientists who were executed by the Kryptonian Science Council for their radical beliefs and studies. After these events, he was taken in by the Elves and was raised alongside with Kara Zor-El and Kal-El. When Jor-El's experiments went wrong and caused the destruction of Krypton, Val, Kara and Kal were all sent to Earth. This could set up, right, a brand new Kal-El, by the way, for this Earth that Val Zod's in, and a Supergirl as well. And They're separated and then they reunite after so many years. How emotional would this be via this story? 8. He is a pacifist. I love that. Growing up listening to recorded teachings from his parents, Val was raised as a pacifist, believed that violence couldn't accomplish anything except to incite more violence. It wasn't until he took up the mantle of Superman that he changed his perspective. In his role as Superman, Val soon realised that violence was sometimes a necessary evil, that's interesting, that was needed to protect the people he cared about. 7. He has his own Justice League. When the other heroes of Earth 2 had sacrificed themselves to save the Earth, a new version of the Justice League stepped up to the plate. Val Zod was there to fill in the role of Superman along with Red Tornado, who has the mind of Lois Lane. It also included a new Batman, a new Aquaman, and a super intelligent assassin named Jimmy Olsen. Wow! This group helped defeat the second wave of Darkseid's assault on Earth 6. His first fight was against Kal-El. Wow, this is what I'm talking about. When Val Zod was pulled out of isolation by Lois Lane, it was because they needed his help to take on an apocalyptic brainwashed Kal-El named Brutal. Wow. When Val faced him, he defeated Brutal and discovered that it was never actually Kal-El, but an imitation. Once Brutal was defeated, the heroes of Earth 2 felt they finally had victory over the forces of Apocalypse. Number 5. Red Tornado trained him how to use his powers. Wow, this is great stuff I didn't know. When Lois Lane was killed during the first Apocalyptian invasion, her father decided to put her mind into the body of the android Red Tornado. I like that. Later on, she was the one who helped free Val Zod from his crippling agoraphobia. She then later helped Val Zod learn how to master his new abilities and gain powers to take on her brainwashed husband. 4. Val fought Talos in Convergence. When Brainiac brought all the Earths together in order to have them battle during the Convergence event, he left his caretaker Talos in charge. Val Zod and Green Lantern teamed up to take down Talos. Val took the capture of his Earth personally and was determined not to see another Earth destroyed. He and Green Lantern fought Talos, and when Green Lantern was weakened, Val took him on alone and forced Talos into retreat. Listen to this, let's go back to this. When Brainiac brought all the Earths together, this could be the arc that Walter Hamada is actually planning. This could be this new phase of the DCEU's endgame, and wouldn't this be really, really exciting? 3. Val Zod is not related to General Zod. Something I didn't even think he'd be related, but wow, great clarification. Despite the shared name, the infamous Superman villain General Zod has no relation to Val Zod. As far as fans know, Val's parents were just a couple of random Kryptonian scientists. While it would have been very cool if Val was the son of General Zod, it just was not meant to be. Zod's actual son is Lord Zod, and he is helping to start a new Krypton in the current continuity. But wouldn't it be awesome if this Val Zod was Zod's son? This would make it a very compelling story for a hero. 2. Val Zod defeated Desaad. When the fire pits of Apocalypse were all over Earth 2, Val Zod fought bravely to put an end to them. He even entered a fire pit in order to save the Huntress. In this fire pit was Desaad's cloning facility, where he has been cloning fake Supermen in order to defeat Desaad. Val had to release the avatar of the Red, who in turn infected Desaad's whole facility, effectively destroying it all. 1. Val took the fight to Apocalypse. After years of attacks against the Earth and countless dead thanks to the vile schemes of the new gods of Apocalypse, Val, Lois and Helena were sent to finally battle on the fiery planet on their way. They even found the Green Lantern along the way, the one who was supposed to protect Earth from all the Apocalyptian attacks that had happened over the years. Wow, great article, CBR.com. This is from March, by the way, when we didn't know what was happening with J.J. Abrams and Ta-Nehisi Coates' Black Superman movie. But wow, very, very interesting. This is how you use the multiverse to represent and be inclusive to people of colour, to other minorities, but you give them great stories. Now, there's one thing I know about Michael B. Jordan, that he's very passionate about the character of Superman, but especially Val Zod. He will do this world and character justice. Val Zod is from another Earth. He, as we've read, interesting facts like Red Tornado having the mind of Lois Lane. What a compelling concept that is. Can anything happen between them? No, because she was married. I think she was married to the Kal-El on that planet. So maybe not, but anything's possible. I don't know if he has a love interest, because I don't know this character. But wow, this is really exciting. Now, let's list all the Supermen who could come into play within Walter Hamada's and Greg Berlanti's multiverse strategy. So, we have Brandon Routh, the Christopher Reeve Superman. We have Tyler Hoechling's Earth Prime's Arrowverse's Superman. So we've got those ones. We've got Nicolas Cage, who was going to be part of the Keatonverse. He was supposed to be Superman. Rumours that he will be in the Flash movie. You've got Henry Cavill, who we haven't seen since Justice League. He also could be put into play within this multiverse strategy, probably having quite a few multiple cameos. So that's exciting as well. We have Tom Welling's Clark Kent as well, who we've never really physically seen dress up as Superman, although we saw quick flashes in the Smallville finale. So, and of course, don't forget, there's Ellis. I forgot his first name. I said his first name earlier, right? President Superman. So we've got President Superman as well, which could be the Superman Ta-Nehisi Coates and J.J. Abrams are developing. Wow, this is just so very, very exciting. I didn't expect this big news when I came in. Now, we've got to take this with a pinch of salt, because even though, Jeff Snyder broke this, and he's a good, reliable source for Collider, by the way. It's not that I don't believe him, but I don't want to get all my hopes up. And it's not to be true. I believe this is true. So via the multiverse strategy, you can make Superman front and center. They're doing it with these Batmen, right? Ben Affleck's, Robert Pattinson's, Michael Keaton's, maybe even Christian Bale. There has been multiple rumours about Christian Bale reprising his role for this multiverse strategy and the Flash movie too. Wouldn't that be awesome? These things will be represented in the Flash movie. I again expect Val Zod, which I believe will be played by Michael B. Jordan, to appear in the Flash movie. This is going to be the moment where you see these characters launched, and then they're set off sail. Then they'll get their own movies and projects, Michael B. Jordan's Val Zod on HBO Max. So this is so ambitious by Walter Hamada and Sarnoff and Greg Berlanti. And I really hope with a budget behind this strategy can really work. I thought the propaganda leaders who are trying to destroy what DC and Warner Brothers are attempting to do right now said Walter Hamada didn't have a plan. As I've said multiple times, Walter Hamada has had a plan from the first time he started as DC president. The worlds of DC is the concept he originally thought of, and it's great. The potential here is amazing. And so let's go back to Michael B. Jordan. I expect him to direct, co-write and star in this limited series. Now, a limited series normally means that you won't get any more, but of course you will. This will be a launch pad for this character. Things like this are so ambitious and so exciting for the fans. I'm not just a fan of one director. I love Zack's DCEU, but I would never thief still the potential of so much more DC projects. This multiverse strategy, if executed properly, and I believe in my biased DC heart, it will be. So having Michael B. Jordan involved, a big Superman fan, and that's important. He loves Superman. I love the fact that he doesn't want to race Ben's Superman. He's a fan of the white Clark Kent as well, so we can have a white Clark Kent. We can have President Superman. We can have Val Zod, and we can have, we can have a Latino Supergirl in Sasha Calle. We can have a white Supergirl in Melissa Benoist. We can bring back Helen Slater if we want. There's so many things we can do here via the multiverse. And it's so awesome and so epic. And I can't see the MCU, if we do this properly, being able to cope. And I believe all these other Supermen, Tyler Hoechlin, Brandon Routh, Nick Cage, are all going to be brought into play as well. Henry Cavill. This is such an exciting time to be a DC fan. You shouldn't be negative about this. You shouldn't be upset about this. We have had multiple white Supermen. It's time to adapt these black Supermen, these Supermen of colour from DC Comics, from the pages of DC Comics. As long as you're not race bending, I don't have an issue with this. I want people to be represented and included. If you want to see yourself on the TV and the big screen, good luck to you. I'm happy for you that this is happening for you. I don't need to see myself represented because I see characters and heroes as aspirational. It doesn't matter what background they have. You know, for me it's about aspirations. I aspire to be the white Superman. I can aspire to be the black Superman. I can aspire to be Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who. Or the male version, the Scottish version played by Peter Capaldi, even though I'm not fucking Scottish, because I'm open-minded, right? That's what I'm about. So, totally amazing, totally exciting. The multiverse, the door of the multiverse has swung open, and once you swing open the door of the multiverse, it cannot close again. So to finish off this story, Michael B. Jordan is probably starring as Val Zod, directing and co-writing a limited series about Val Zod's Superman, and I couldn't be more happier about it. Lots of people ask me, what are they actually doing in The Flash? How does this change the DCEU forever? Right, so last year at DC Fandom, Andy and Barbara Machete discussed this, saying that Barry Allen, by the end of the movie, will reboot the multiverse, right? So that means every Earth within the DC universe will be rebooted, and it will be starting from scratch. So we've seen this done in comics before. So also Barbara and Andy said, although they're rebooting and pretty much starting from scratch, nothing will be forgotten and everything will be remembered. I've predicted before that they will forget at first, but slowly they'll get total recall. So there's two comic books we need to look at for this Flash movie and for this multiverse strategy. First is Flashpoint, obviously, which they've admitted they're lightly adapting. So it's Flashpoint and DC Rebirth. DC Rebirth is a slight reboot. It's not a total reboot. You see, the New 52 was very controversial because it rebooted everything and it started from scratch and it deleted all those years of DC Comics. So understandably, even though I like a lot of New 52 stories, I can understand why people were pissed off. So you're looking at a semi-adaptation of Flashpoint and DC Rebirth. And so that's the kind of thing you're looking at. Now, they could either hand-pick certain things to kind of reboot and not reboot everything, or reboot the lot, which means anything that's happened hasn't been forgotten. You could still watch those films, and then when you get to Flashpoint, this Earth, and all, I think he's rebooting it could be just rebooting the DCEU Earth 1, but I would imagine maybe they're rebooting the whole multiverse, like Oliver Queen did in Crisis on Infinite Earths. But that storyline from Crisis will come into play in the future of the DCEU and DC live action, and that will be catalogued and dealt with in the Flash movie as well. So for anyone confused, this is what they're doing. They're slightly adapting Flashpoint and DC Rebirth. This is basically, you may as well call this not just the multiverse strategy, but the DCEU Rebirth, which is very, very exciting for me, and I can't wait to see how this changes everything. Now let's cross over to Black Adam, because the director, Colette Serra, I forgot his first name by the way, has been talking. So Johnson and Colette Serra bonded in the depths of that on-screen jungle to the point that the star recruited the director for his first superhero effort, the DC Films project Black Adam, which just wrapped in Atlanta. Colette Serra calls Black Adam the most complex puzzle of my career, especially as the Spanish filmmaker grew up on iconic 80s movies instead of comic books. His take on the character, one who plays in the same universe as Batman and Superman, leans into the grittier side of Johnson's winning persona. Having just done a romantic adventure comedy where he's very light, I was really attracted to getting the dark version of Dwayne, basically turning him into Clint Eastwood in a Western. I was like, you're like the Dirty Harry of superheroes, he says. I didn't have to convince people that I was right for this one, in the same way that I did for Jungle Cruise. It's like things I've done with Liam Neeson, that tough guy anti-hero who has a heart. The world is not black and white. The world is in grey areas, so you need these people that are riding that grey area. This is very, very interesting by Colosera, the director of Black Adam. What he's saying is, we are going to see a kind of a Jack Bauer Black Adam, a Dirty Harry Black Adam, someone who does immoral things for the right reasons, or what he thinks are the right reasons. And he talks about the darkness, talks about grey areas. I think this is awesome. I think this is exactly the Black Adam movie I want to see and you want to see. But there's another little quote here from, what's his name? I forgot his bloody name. He played Barry Allen's father. John Wesley Shipp. Always forget your name, John. You're a legend. He was the original Flash. Here's a quote about his role in Stargirl Season 2. Amazing, amazing. I've got to tell you, I had the best time in Atlanta shooting with the cast. People must watch. It debuts August the 10th. This show has so much energy and depth and heat and excitement around it at the moment. It has that new show, everybody is 100% invested. We already want this thing to work. Jeff Johns was on set the entire time I was there. Our wonderful director, the ability to work with Luke Wilson, to work with Lou Ferrigno Jr., to create the JSA. I found myself in my own history. So, John Wesley Shipp's a big DC fan, by the way. It's the reason he played the original Barry Allen in the 90s. He loves this fucking stuff. Great to hear that Jeff Johns was on the set all the time as well. Remember when Grace Randolph said he hadn't done a good job with Stargirl and nobody liked him? Those people on Stargirl like Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns doesn't really normally have problems with people, but there were problems when he was running DC and the DCEU because it was a mess and the man didn't know what to do. You know, there was the Snyder situation. His vision of DC is different to Zack's. It was just two people with different ideas, and in the end you get stressed and you become someone else that you're not. But people who want to cancel Jeff can, but I'll never cancel Jeff Johns totally. I believe in his vision for DC. They left him alone with Stargirl, and look what a great result we have seen. So that is very interesting and exciting as well. This has been the Movies TV Mad Daily. The headline for today and the next few days will be this: that Michael B. Jordan is probably not only developing, co-writing, directing, but playing Val Zod, Val Zod Superman, in a Val Zod Superman limited series with HBO Max. This has got me excited, honoured, and more hyped than excited for DC fandom and this multiverse strategy. Comment down below, like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next video. And don't forget before you go that you are getting a lot of sneak peeks, lots of clips from James Gunn's The Suicide Squad as well. We saw a great TDK scene when his arms separate. A few of the Snyder propaganda artists are back saying it's crap CGI. It's not crap CGI. You've never worked in CG. It's great CG. It works. It's awesome. It's fun. You can keep on being negative and I'll keep on muting you. So until the next time, till the next video, I'll see you again soon. Be hyped, because DC is going to the very top of live action comic book genre. Until the next video, I'll see you again soon. Bye!